I guess, not candidates for 2000. This man of many media, including TV's capture contractor, confesses when he talks about having to use a right-handed saw. Steve, bro. No. Alexander Pritish. He's a lefty, ironically, Adam Carolla.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
That may have been recorded off of someone's TV set. So I'm flattered that I was a Jeopardy question and then devastated that no one got me. Mm-hmm. I hearken back to junior high when Esther Chilidenko, attractive girl in the 8th grade, said, "You know what, Adam? It was kind of between you and your friend Chris as to who I was going to go steady with, and I've chosen you. All my friends think I'm crazy, but I went with you." And I went, did you really need to tack that on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really, it's. I get what they're doing. They're saving themselves a little bit just in case they make the wrong decision, but still, nonetheless,
I don't know. I think people just talk a little too much.
Too much?
I think women do. I can't tell you all the times where you're sort of hanging up the phone and then there's a bunch of extra talk. You know what I mean? And I just think people, it's like a thing where people go, we're going to the paint store and they go, I need a new, what do you have in Navajo White or Swiss coffee? And the guy goes, oh, let me check. And then they go, my mother-in-law's moving in with us and we have to repaint her room. And it's like, I'm just like, just get the fucking paint. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I just mean, there's nothing they can do with that. It's just more stuff. At some point, it's going to lead to, then they're going to go, yeah, my mother-in-law passed almost 1 year ago to the day, throat cancer. And then you go, oh, I'm so, and now we're off and running in some weird direction while I'm trying to load paint up.
The worst is when you have a job and you are in the public. Like, I always think about the bank teller who has to sit there and listen to the guy talk about stuff
how about
like
the people are in line behind that person?
That's what I'm saying, is they have to sit and listen to it and go, come on, man, we got stuff to do. Obviously, everyone's getting a little pissed off.
Yes. All right. So, I tell you, I was at the gas station is... The arc of the gas station, I think you could measure the gas station and, well, first off, okay, a couple things. As the gas station goes, so does the community. You know, like it's almost like saying, well, you can't win a Super Bowl without a good defense or something like that. There's just certain things. When that gas station, when I was a kid, the gas station had some red-haired guy named Murph who worked there, and if you needed air or your dipstick checked or, he'd come out. Okay, old gas station, old school, L.A., pump your gas, give you blue chip trading stamps.
Guy named Fred. Yeah.
Murph.
Yeah, Murph, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a little bit. Union 76 had a whole campaign of Murph. Yeah. Murph was a red-haired Irish dude, and he'd come out and he'd be pumping the gas and giving you blue chip trading stamps and telling you your front right looked like it could use a couple of pounds, and then pulling out the hose and filling it up there.
Squeegee on the windshield.
Check the dipstick.
Yeah.
I just got a flat tire, and I was trying to fix it, and first things first, I pull into the gas station. I'm like, you got air? You got an air hose? And the guy just points, like, it's over there. Then you got to go over there and run your credit card and pay for the air.
That's illegal. It's state law that any place that sells gas has to offer air and water for free at any time. Always go in and ask them to turn on the air. They're required by law.
Well, I don't know how this thing, well, look it up because that's interesting. But this pump, it's basically like going inside and telling them to turn on the phone booth. Like it ain't turning on unless you put change in it. But you got to swipe the credit card, put the air in. The air didn't take. The car tire had a hole in it. I pulled it around to the guy, thick Russian accent. Ask him. Can you change this tire? I mean, listen, everyone, I can do it and have done it a million times, but what the fuck? I'm at a gas station, a guy standing there. So he goes, $25. And I'm like, yeah, okay, $25. By the way, the other thing at the gas station is everything that's in the gas station also comes with a warning of why you shouldn't be using it. So it's just a bunch of vape stuff about how vaping is deadly as you go in to get your vape, you know, and then the pump is one big thing about cancer as you're standing there pumping.
Selling gummies and
everything in California is you're going to pump your own gas. No one else is going to pump your own gas. You're going to do it times a million a day, but we're going to put a long, lengthy sticker on it explaining this is going to kill you. And you can sell vape, but we need to put a big sticker on the place that sells vape explaining this is going to kill you as well. Which, by the way, this just in, California Assembly passes Act, blah, blah, blah. Oh, stop. Sure. Oh, the stop. I'm sorry. I thought this had to do with tire inflation. Yeah. All right. So I thought the Air Compressor Act was hot off the presses.
Well, was Nick Shirley trying to get air? I think the government stopped him.
All right. So California, so it passed the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Okay.
God.
That's
Crazy.
just.
This is why we need a Republican governor.
We just do. Well, here's the thing.
That's one party rule.
Okay, are we done with gas stations? I got thoughts, but that's all right.
Hold
We'll move
on.
to Nick.
Here's the law. Here's the law. As of January 1st, 2000, every service station in the state shall provide during operating hours and make available at no cost to customers who purchase motor vehicle fuel, water. So the law says
you gotta fill
that
up.
they
You gotta
can
purchase
deny
something.
you if you're not purchasing fuel. But how do they know? And it's a fight they'll never take. I've gone in to get air for my tires all the time. I just say, can you turn on the compressor, please? They say, absolutely.
So the coin op one in the back, they can turn it on from behind the register?
Behind the counter, yeah.
Really? Now, what if, all right, it says gas, oil. Does it say anything about pistachios?
No, it does not.
Because I bought pistachios, bro.
Here's how stupid
Hold
California
on, nothing about pistachios?
Nothing about
wait,
pistachios.
did you go
But
with
it does say if you buy compressed air, they're required to provide air.
Oh.
So that's really stupid. And if you buy a tire gauge, apparently, then they have to give it to you.
But still nothing.
But no
about
one is
pistachios.
ever going to fight you.
So zero pistachio talk is what you're saying.
So
Okay.
did you go name brand pistachio or did you go gas station brand pistachio? Because I think sometimes you got to buy the brand of the gas station that you were
This
at.
was Exxon.
Exxon.
Made
See,
these
they ain't got,
pistachios.
no. See, I got strong gas station thoughts because I travel so much. There's two gas stations on the planet.
Oh, let me just say this. Sorry. When I was a kid, Murph runs out, fills up your car, tells you have a nice day, puts air, tops it off, blah, 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 trading stamps. That was 1970. Now it's bulletproof glass, foreigner yelling at you, a bunch of fucking stickers that say cancer's going to kill you, and you got to pay for air. So that's basically where Los Angeles has gone, that place. Now, what we would like is a version of the old gas station.
Yeah.
We would like that, but the Democrats won't do that. No. So they were going to keep going this direction.
You'll never find that here in California, but you know where you will find it, Ace? The great state of Wisconsin. Because I've never had more joy in my life than the time you and I stopped by a Quick Trip.
Yeah.
When we were out at the racetrack. We stopped in.
Yep.
We got coffee. We got pistachios. We got free air that we didn't have to pay for and ask. It was already running.
That's right.
But you walk in. There's no bulletproof glass. It's friendly people. They always ask, "You got your Quick Trip card? Because you might be able to get this coffee for free." You won't, and they don't build inside of city limits because they don't want their brand to. Like you're talking about the In-N-Out burger, the only one that's ever closed ever. It was in San Jose.
Oakland.
Oakland, yes.
Yes.
Oakland. And they, Quick Trip won't build inside of a city limit because they don't want their brand to get tarnished with that. They want a sort of neighborly community style gas station.
And by the way, don't even get started with the bathroom, which you can't use here. So here, there's bottles of piss everywhere, meaning guys drank his Gatorade and then he filled it up and threw it, because we have delivery drivers everywhere and no gas station will let them take a piss. So they just piss it up in the truck and then chuck it next to the curb next to my house. All right, let's do some news. Drive me nuts.
In her new memoir, Fame Sick, Lena Dunham reflects on her hit show Girls and the complex relationship she had with co-star Adam Driver, both on and off set. Girls, which starred Dunham and Driver as her toxic on-again, off-again boyfriend, also named Adam, according to Dunham's new memoir, their real-life relationship was too different. Obviously, there's a lot to the story.
Was too different?
It says here, relationship wasn't too different. Yep, you are right. Thank you. Wasn't too different, but you have a lot of thoughts on Lena. So before I get any of the details,
well,
about this,
no details. He threw a chair.
Threw a chair at her. So one of the things is, I remember doing a fight.
Hold on a second. Everybody understand. I think she said threw a chair toward her. That's
yes. The word
right.
was toward in her general direction.
What is that? Does it say toward or at? Because if it says toward is nothing. You could be throwing toward Mecca for all we fucking know and offending Muslims. Like, toward is bullshit for threatened with a chair. Mm-hmm. If it says toward, I read it said toward.
If I fart toward you, you may not smell it.
I may.
Fart at you.
I'm not sure. Dawson, I know you think you're onto something here, but I'd say if you fart toward me, I might. But I like where your head's at. I don't want to stifle you creatively. Throwing a chair toward someone means you threw a chair while that person was in the room.
Yes.
Throwing a chair at the person. Let me give you an example. Throwing the chair at person. The chick who was just thrown off The Bachelor from Mormon Wives. That chick threw a chair at somebody.
Yes.
That was at somebody. That guy got a chair thrown at him. Throwing a chair towards somebody is what Bobby Knight made famous. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Dawson's fart analogy, too, is good, too. But I think those two specific ones.
Could you imagine if Bobby Knight farted toward you?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That chair was chucked right at that dude, and Bobby Knight just threw the chair out into the court as a general whatever.
Yeah.
So,
it is nice when you see one go sliding across the.
Yes.
One of the things that she talks about here is they were doing a fight scene. They were running their lines in a trailer. She went to open her mouth and started stammering, and all he screamed was, "Fucking say something." That's when the chair came at the wall next to me. That's where I was looking for, right there. At the wall next to me. Wake the fuck up. I'm sick of just watching you stare. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Well,
he's in the moment all the time.
Couple things. First things first. Thank God I'm not seeing Adam Driver in every fucking movie that's ever been made, because there was a 2.5 year span where he was just literally in every movie, and something happened 3 years ago and he's not in every movie now. So that's good right there. Chair dodged. So here's the thing about Lena Dunham, and I do this all the time. I just sort of predict who's got legs and who doesn't have legs comedically, and she was one of my very early, we're not going to be hearing from her again because she doesn't have the chops comedically for us to hear from her again. Now, Hollywood loves making somebody the toast of the town. And if it's a woman, it's better. And if she's a little unattractive, even better. So they love that. So she came out with a movie called Tiny Furniture in 2010. Tiny Furniture won the festival at South by Southwest. One of the categories, whatever. I watched the movie. The movie's not good, and it's not funny, and it's not smart, and it's not anything. It's just a story, and the story that the festivals like, because the assholes are all posers at all those festivals, is, and by the way, it's super easy to figure out. Critics, 79%, fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. People, 54%. So that's what it is. It's a fair to middling 54% movie that's not that funny. Okay, but gets into South by Southwest because we have a doughy female with a strong voice who's made this independently, and she wrote and directed and starred, and they fucking love that shit. So they make a big deal out of it, and then Hollywood makes a big deal out of her, and then you get a fair to middling show that's not that funny called Girls, but she's the toast of the town and on the cover of everything. And I'm looking at this movie and I go, listen, making a movie By the way, I made a movie a year before this that did not get into South by Southwest, except for Rotten Tomatoes has it at 82 with the critics and 90 with the people, but not good enough for South by Southwest.
Yeah, where did ESPN rank Lena Dunham's Tiny Furniture on their best movies?
That's right. Yeah. Not even in the top 5.
No.
So, okay. So this is how the game is played. Now, here's the deal. Understand that writing, directing, and starring in a movie is the punt, pass, and kick competition of comedy. If you write, direct, and star in a movie and it's not that funny, then you're not that funny. And it's hard, but you're not that funny. So I watched it and I was like, well, she's not that funny. By the way, she doesn't do comedy anymore.
Sure.
That's how you know she's not that funny. She's in a mediocre sitcom that, of course, Time Magazine says 5 most powerful women in America. And they love it. They love all the bullshit rags. Love that shit. The ratings, Tim Allen's show gets 20 times the ratings of Lena Dunham's show, but everyone loves Lena Dunham because that's Hollywood, a bunch of progressive, fucking dumb pricks. Their model is gone. She's gone like they're gone. She's writing her second memoir. She's 33 and a half. It's her second one.
Yeah.
Second one. By the way, not funny. And now has to bring up Adam Driver because she's got to move some units and no one gives a fuck about her anymore.
Pluto TV has thousands of free movies and TV shows.
We're coming at you with everything we got.
This is the mindset. Free. This is the mantra. Free. This is the mindset.
With movies like Pineapple Express, the entire Star Trek film franchise, and Gladiator, and TV shows like Survivor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, and Ghosts, Pluto TV is always free. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
One of the things she talks about in this article and in the book is about how there was times he was very caring and very loving. Like the last thing he ever said to her after filming Wrapped, he said, "I hope you know that I will always love you." And she had hoped that one day they could go on and be able to create more content. But apparently that was the last conversation they ever had.
Well, they can't because she can't create more content because you can only do the bullshit full ever. See, listen. They anoint you, but they don't anoint you twice. After that, we need product. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like Seth MacFarlane keeps making product. She didn't have good product. She just got anointed. And so there's no round 2. So now you just sit somewhere in upstate New York and paint.
Yeah, it's funny when guys like Judd Apatow, who have the ability to put out great content, look at her and go, let's all hitch our wagons to this. Because she's terrible, but Judd for some reason he always sort of, hoists her flag up the pole.
What's he doing with her?
I mean, he's done stuff with her in the past. I think that's how Girls Got Made was because of Judd.
But but those days are over.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. So, all right. So she does not have comedic talent, and we pushed her up front and we anointed her and she wasn't up to it. And that's basically what it is. I don't say she's a bad person. And also I never criticize her looks because I don't know, people spend too much time on that. But also not looking good naked and getting naked is also why Hollywood loved her as well. Yeah. So she's in the memoir business now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who does have the ability to pump out great content? Megyn Kelly. And she tore into Sydney Sweeney, blasting the actress over a provocative Euphoria teaser that she says has crossed a disturbing line. The conservative commentator reacted to a newly released preview of season 3 for HBO's hit drama. Apparently, Sydney Sweeney is dressed as a baby, sucking on a binky pacifier with her legs completely spread.
Yeah, I saw the picture. It's more the angle that's a little unnerving, you know what I mean? It's also, I get it, a little weird with all the pedophilia stuff that's going on out there. All right, we'll hear what she has to say.
Teased the 3rd season of Euphoria with a little video showing what's going to be happening with Sydney Sweeney's character, where I guess she's going to become a social media influencer. and she's going to be like an OnlyFans actress. And I'm sorry, forgive me, viewer warning. This
little
is her
heads up
spread
on
eagle.
that, Megan.
Sorry.
Good God.
On a couch. It's definitely R-rated. Sorry.
Oh, and we're zooming
I'm
in.
sorry. Forgive me.
Holy cat. This is going to change the
shocking.
trajectory of my day, Megan. You could have given us a heads up.
She's dressed as a baby. She's in a baby's outfit. She's sucking on a binky pacifier, and her legs are completely spread. And you can have a laugh, of course, because it's just, I shocked you. But the truth is, this is sexualizing infancy. That's what this is. And some of the write-ups about this are like, it's a pretty common kink.
What?
Getting turned on by a baby? Like what? What are you? What?
I've never heard. No.
Okay, so this is sick, and this guy is promoting this. I can't believe she agreed to this, frankly, and was in this. Like, we just took the screen grab from the trailer.
Right, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Megan. It's weird.
It's weird.
I mean, I'm not gonna govern anyone's artistic whatever. You can go do piss Christ if you want, but this is weird, and there is enough pedophilia going on out there where I'm like, I don't know if we need to chum the waters. Feel like there's a big enough problem already. So, like, my feeling would just be like, I wouldn't do it. I don't really care if someone does do it. There's bigger fish to fry, but this is Trump versus the Pope. I sort of understand both sides on this one.
Yeah, apparently there's been a few Euphoria actresses, including Sweeney herself, who have spoken out about feeling uncomfortable with the amount of nudity that is written into the show. I've never seen it.
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't know. There's like, here's the thing. Comedy is really hard to do. Just watch Tiny Furniture. And drama and everything's kind of weird, sort of gross shock stuff is pretty easy to do. You know what I mean? Like, you just do sort of stuff where people go like, oh my God, I can't believe they showed that, you know? And it's like anyone could fucking write that.
Yeah.
So it's a little lazy sometimes, but I'm going to watch you see her naked.
Somebody pointed out anytime in a movie they use a cat or a dog and somebody murders that animal, it's always used, it's such an easy way to get people invested into the...
Yes.
Yeah. So, former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa said his fellow Democrats are responsible for the state's affordability crisis at a candidate forum on Wednesday. He went on to talk about how, yes, it was Trump who put us in some of this, but Democrats in California are mostly the problem. Let's fix what we broke.
All right.
So
this state's unaffordable. We have the highest gas prices in the United States of America. We have the highest utility costs in the continental United States and the highest home prices. It happened under our watch. I'm the only candidate willing to say that. This wasn't because of Donald Trump. This was because of policies that we created that have made it impossible for people to afford this state.
By the way, I thought it was Putin's price hikes. Remember those? Remember when Putin got in and made eggs more expensive and stuff? And gas and stuff when Putin did that? But don't worry, we're going to shut him down because we were going to go after the bank accounts of the oligarchs. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like that was that effective. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to take away their penthouses in Manhattan, and they were going to end the Ukrainian war the next day. Except that was 3 years ago, and nothing ever happened. I don't know if there's anything that Biden ever said that happened or didn't happen. So yes, it's of course it's all the Democrats' fault. They're in charge of the state. They fucked the fucking state up with horrible legislation. They just passed one 10 minutes ago, which is the whole Charlie, what's his name thing? Hebdo. No, what's his name?
Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
Yes.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, it's the same.
The whole Nick Shirley thing, that they can't stop themselves. Even in the middle of ruining their state, they continue to ruin it. Now, Villaraigosa is a dope and should not be in charge of anything, but the fact that we're even talking about him. He was the mayor for 8 years. All right, everyone, sit down real quick on Villaraigosa. Failed the bar 4 times, never passed, never took it again. Didn't pass it on the 5th. Failed 4 times, decided he was too dumb to pass the bar, and finished the bar, never took the bar again. That guy was in charge of Los Angeles for 8 years, a guy who failed the fucking bar 4 times. Also, his name is Tony Villar. It's not Antonio Villaraigosa. His name is Antonio Villaraigosa because he changed it at 34. 34. He was Tony Villar his whole life. Why'd he change it to Villar? Because he wanted to sound more Mexican so he could get the dumb fucking Mexicans to vote for him so he could fuck up their fucking city that they're not supposed to be in. That's kind of. So what do you think's going on with all the politics? You got the Somalis, we got the Mexicans. Why is he named? Who changes your name into their 30s?
Yeah.
To Antonio Villaraigosa to fool dumb Mexicans into, and by the way, sorry, dumb Mexicans and my mom and her friends into voting for you because we like the optics. We like the We had 8 years of a fucking retard running Los Angeles, but we like the optics. Now we're going on 4 years of a black female running Los Angeles into the fucking ground, but we like the optics of it. My mom would say, this feels good there. She likes retarded people from different nations to come in and fuck the city up that she lives in because she likes the optics of it. And you're from Minneapolis. You understand how that works. You elect retarded Somalis to come in and fuck up your cities. I don't know when we're going to course correct. Villaraigosa's name is Tony Villar. Failed the bar 4 times, took his wife's last name. It's Tony and Villar. You know, they combined them, made a hyphenate. So he's a fucking pussy. Takes his old lady's name, tacks it onto his name, then has an affair with like a Telemundo reporter after that. So I don't know if he was really in love with his wife, but he ends up having an affair, and then they get divorced. And now he'd like to run the state. That's who that guy is.
Yeah.
By the way, like when I was telling you Biden was a sociopath the other day, this guy changed his name in his 30s. He's broken. There's something wrong with him. He's a pandering fucking pussy. He's a pandering sociopath. He wants people to think he's more Mexican. I remember a day when people tried to be less Mexican. That's when Murph would come out and fill up those tires. All right. Me, tomorrow night, Phoenix, Desert Ridge with Rudy there. Now, I hope you're strapped in, Rudy. Early show Friday sold out.
Okay.
But early show Saturday sold out too. Somebody's got to check the website. I might have to talk to Nick about checking that website.
Wait, have you had this conversation with him before?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Probably not.
I don't recall having this conversation.
Nick's a good dude.
Right, but I may have to have that discussion with him for the dates.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So the early shows are sold out, but there's still some for the late and the Sunday show. And Rudy's going to be there. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Rudy, where do we go to find?
I'll be at, I'll go to rudypovichcomedy.com. I'm with you this weekend, Chicago and Arlington, Texas next week.
All right. You go to adamcarolla.com, be in Vegas and throughout. Also, Covina. Go to adamcarolla.com for all that. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Fitzdog and Rudy Povich saying mahalo. I'll tell you another tell, and then I'll play this Fauci clip because you'll get it when you hear it. There's a couple of tells. It's not being agnostic, just literally going, I don't know if that medication will work. Try it. Talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know the origin of COVID. It makes sense it's from the lab, but I don't know. When they all of a sudden don't know stuff and they formerly knew everything. So it's like when they said to Fauci, what about natural immunity? It's like, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. It's like, oh, you don't know anything because you knew everything about this, but now you don't know anything.
Yeah,
now you're lying. So listen to him. What is this from, by the way? What year? I remember going to the airport after this and yelling at everyone in the car what was going on. But this is July 2020. And Fauci, this is early.
Yeah.
And this is Fauci being confused.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Fauci, do protests increase the spread of the virus?
Do protests increase the spread of the virus? I think I can make a general statement.
Well, 500,000 protesters on June 6th alone.
Yeah.
I'm just asking that number of people, does it increase the spread of the virus?
Crowding together, particularly when you're not wearing a mask, contributes to the spread of the virus.
Should we limit the protesting?
I'm not sure what you mean. How do we
All right,
say
hold on.
limit?
Okay, first thing, I'm dumb. What do you mean? How do we limit? You shut down every church. You shut down every school. You shut down the beaches.
Yeah.
You shut everything down. What do you mean, how do we limit? You took bulldozers and you scooped sand into skate parks and you tore down the beach volleyball nets. You cut down the beach volleyball nets and you welded pipes over basketball hoops at the park.
And you covered nets around swing sets.
And you arrested a guy who was paddleboarding in the bay. So what do you mean, how do we police this? You do it by what you've just got done doing this, Fauci. But anyway, he's confused. Yeah. He's just a humble caveman lawyer.
And he said masked.
Masked. Yeah, I did say masked. It's funny.
I'm not sure what you mean. How do we say limit the protesting?
Should government limit the protesting?
I don't think that's relevant to...
Well, you just said it's not relevant. You just said groups were spreading this disease. You shut down schools and churches. You shut down restaurants and beaches. So what do you mean you don't know what he means?
Yeah, he wasn't briefed on this to what to say.
Right. Yes.
Well, you just said if it increases the spread of the virus, I'm just asking, should we limit it?
Well, I'm not in a position to determine what the government can do in a forceful way.
Oh, by the way, that's all he does. All he's been doing is making proclamations about what you can do for Thanksgiving and what you can do. You know, go eat in your yard. You know what I mean? Use a T-shirt cannon to pass the potatoes to your grandmothers at the end of the table. Like, are you fucking nuts? So all of a sudden, he's in no position to give any advice on COVID safety.
I know, it's maddening, and it makes me so angry because my mother passed away during COVID in 1991 in January. And they said, and it was in California, of course, and they're like, no, well, you can't have...
Wait a minute, you just said 1991.
I'm sorry, 2000, I'm sorry, 2021.
Okay, good. Sorry for laughing. Sorry. That was a joke.
No, 2021, and that was, hot COVID at the time, and they said, you can't have a funeral. Right. And I was like, fuck this.
Right.
We're having a funeral for my mother, and if people want to show up, we'll do it outside, but we're having one, and you try to stop me. And that's what I told the funeral home, and that's what I told the cemetery we're having one. And if you're not going to provide the chairs, I'll bring my own chairs. Right. And if you don't want to provide anything, you don't have to provide anything. It's my mother, and I paid for that casket, and we're going to have it outside, and I'm going to have chairs, I'm going to have flowers, I'm going to have musicians, and we're going to have my mother exit this place in a beautiful way, as dignified as what is required for our loved ones. And the fact that they didn't want to have that, I had it anyway. But it was interesting because one of the weird flukes that happens in life is that I became friends with this guy, and I didn't say his name in the book because he worked. He's a brilliant doctor, Dr. David Klonoff, and I think I could say it now. He was working at NIH. One of the guys was working, hired by the government. He's a professor of medicine. And like I said, he didn't put it in the book. And he said, July 3rd, 2020. I said, what's going on really? Mm-hmm. This is 2020, early, around the same time, maybe a week or two before this. And he said to me, receptor 26 looks a little sticky, but don't quote me. Because he was saying that this is man-made, that this seems manipulated, and that's his way of saying it. And and I'm a layman, what do I know? But I knew enough to know that means it's man-made. And he said, "Don't quote me because they will." What happened was, if you told the truth back then, they'll ruin your career.
I know.
And that's why, David Klonoff, a great man, and at the time he knew that he couldn't, and, he's working for the government at the time and trying to figure this thing out. And then, can you imagine, this is a guy, one of the most smartest guys, this is a guy who, the foremost leading authority on diabetes in the world. These guys helped design, artificial pancreas. This guy's a genius. Mm-hmm. And they're stifling geniuses. Yeah. This is where this asshole, Fauci, was at the top of this thing, squelching any truth coming out.
Oh, there's emails of him saying silence people. All right, well, listen. Go back 10 seconds. But listen, this is July 2020. Listen to Fauci lying.
Protesting. Should government limit the protesting?
I don't think that's relevant to...
Well, you just said if it increases the spread of the virus, I'm just asking, should we limit it?
Well, I'm not in a position to determine what the government can do in a forceful way.
Well, you make all kinds of recommendations. You make comments on dating, on baseball, on everything you can imagine. I'm just asking, you just said that protests increase the spread. I'm just asking you, should we try to limit the protests?
No, I think I would leave that to people who have more of a position to do that. I can tell you...
Government stopping people from going to church, Dr. Fauci?
Yeah.
Last week in the Calvary Chapel case, 5 liberals on the Supreme Court said it was okay for Nevada to limit church services. Justice Gorsuch said it best. He said, there's no world in which the Constitution permits Nevada to favor Caesar's Palace over Calvary Chapel. I'm just asking, is there a world where the Constitution says you can favor one First Amendment liberty, protesting,
by the way, can you
over
pause
another?
it for a second? I've said this a million times. I know it sounds a little convenient, but you go, look, Rob, you think this way, and Adam thinks the same way you think, and then this guy's on that side of the aisle, and everyone has their side, and
this
he's
isn't
a Democrat.
about sides.
It's fine. Right, but I'm going to say this. You can say whatever you want about Jim Jordan. He's fucking smart.
Yeah.
And he's asking questions. And then you go to the other side and you get Mazie Hirono. And she's like, Dr. Fauci, isn't it good? You like pineapple? I do. No fur. I yield my time. Like AOC, half the people on the left are fucking retarded.
No, they
you're
are.
having trouble forming sentences, and you can say whatever you want about Cotton or Jim Jordan or whoever these guys are, but they're fucking sharp.
Yes, and you know what? As a matter of fact, he's circling in literally like a very good attorney,
right?
Circling in to find the truth and to expose someone who's clearly lying and clearly being evasive. And inconsistent in his dogma.
Well, we'll continue on.
Miss Nevada to favor Caesar's Palace over Calvary Chapel. I'm just asking, is there a world where the Constitution says you can favor one First Amendment liberty, protesting, over another, practicing your faith?
I'm not favoring anybody over anybody. I'm just making a statement that's a broad statement that avoid crowds of any type, no matter where you are, because that leads to the acquisition and transmission. And I don't judge one crowd versus another crowd. When you're in a crowd, particularly if you're not wearing a mask.
He wouldn't say limit protests. So what do you mean you don't judge one crowd versus another crowd? You just did that. You would not judge the BLM protest. You were asked to, but you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
Favoring anybody over anybody. I'm just making a statement that's a broad statement that avoid crowds of any type, no matter where you are, because that leads to the acquisition and transmission. And I don't judge one crowd versus another crowd. When you're in a crowd, particularly if you're not wearing a mask, that induces the spread.
It's a simple question, doctor. Should we limit the protest? Government is obviously limiting people going to church. And look, there's been no violence that I can see at church. I haven't seen people during a church service go out and harm police officers or burn buildings. But we know that, for 63 days, 9 weeks, it's been happening in Portland.
Right. Yeah.
Well, one night in Chicago, 49 officers were injured. But no limit to protest. But boy, you can't go to church on Sunday.
What was the? I don't know how many times I can answer that. I'm not going to opine on limiting anything. I'm just going to tell you.
You've opined on a lot of things, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, but I've never.
This is something that directly impacts the spread of the virus, and I'm asking your position on the protest.
Yeah, I'm not going to opine on limiting anything. I'm telling you what it is, the danger, and you can make your own conclusion about that. You should stay away from crowd.
By the way, hold on a second. If this guy wasn't corrupted and had a fucking shred of dignity and wasn't a liar, he would just go, yeah, no Black Lives Matter rallies and no Christian faith rallies and no KKKs through marching in the street. No any of it.
Right. Well,
the virus doesn't know if you're racist or you're pro BLM or you're gay. You have a gay flag. Yeah, it's all bad.
It was a political.
Just say it.
It was all politics with these assholes.
That whole point is he's covered because he's allowed to say I will shut down the Pittsburgh Steelers bar, and I'll shut down the gay bar, and I'll shut down the church, and I'll shut down the liquor store. Like, I'll just, it's all bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a Raiders fan or a Rams fan, both games are canceled. Like, that's what he could have said, but he wouldn't do it. He circled and circled and circled, but he was so scared of getting into trouble with his BLM masters.
Yeah.
By the way, what the fuck's BLM have to do with COVID anyway? It has everything to do with COVID if you're corrupted like he was.
He was, but the idea was to take down Trump at that time. Anything to take down Trump, and that was part of it, and he was part of it. I mean, he cornered Trump, and they all lied to him. It was Burks, and it was him, and it was Redfield, and they basically said, like, if you don't, 4 million Americans will die, and you'll be known as the plague president, blah, 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 if you don't shut down the country. And, and shutting down the country for 2 weeks was just, getting their toe in the door to tyranny. And they meant to keep it as long as they could keep it until everybody got the experimental gene therapy. And it's just it was one of those things that happened, but how do Democrats not see it? And the only way I could describe it is, I remember there's a story from Alan Watts. He was talking about the shaman, because there was something so outside of their ability when the conquistadors came to the New World that literally it was unimaginable to them. That's why I see the Democratic Party. It's unimaginable to see this gigantic corruption and these morons for what they are, and that the system is completely filled with lies. It's the same thing when the shaman had to come out and explain in the language of their own tribesmen to get them to visualize and see something as big as like this boat with these sails and these conquistadors. Because they couldn't imagine it.
Right. I guess we could roll into a little news now with Adam Yenzer.
Yeah, we had some local LA news here. An inventor created an ingeniously simple device to end LA's copper wire theft problem, and the city immediately shot it down. Los Angeles has rejected an entrepreneur's cheap and simple fix to stop the city's crippling copper wire theft crisis. End metal theft spokesman Mark James revealed to the California Post it had created a hardened cover that secures streetlights and would stop neighborhoods being plunged into darkness. The device fastens over the lid to the wires, makes it harder, louder, and far riskier for criminals to gain access. They would cost about $300 to install. But instead, City Hall shot it down and wants to focus on converting to solar lamps that will cost up to $6,000 each.
Well, look, here's the problem. I'm gonna tell you guys the problem. There is a mechanical brain, and then there's an emotional brain, and like I have a mechanical brain. And so everything I think about passes through a sort of mechanical world, which is a world of attempted efficiency, where you want everything to kind of be I want to burn the least amount of calories as possible to get the same results. And I don't think people really fully know that. They think about a mechanical world as just one of building and creating, but it's really about engineering is sort of about what is the least amount we can do but still be safe. It's not the most. Like I will see amateurs, and amateurs build stuff, and they'll build shelves, and they'll have 2x4s screwed to the wall and 4x4 posts, and it's like in their closet. And I'll go, this is way over fucking built, because this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, because it's too much. And so in LA, we have a bunch of dumb chicks in positions of power, and they don't have a building brain, a mechanical brain. They have an emotional brain. And so you're asking somebody, the same person who's angry at Toyota for making catalytic converters so easy to steal,
putting it right there.
That retarded brain is now going to be focused on streetlights, and it's not going to happen. So you're not going to get that out of them. And just because it's cheaper and faster doesn't mean it's going to work. And also, they don't have any real problem solving skills. And I talked to a guy, there used to be, and there still is, a lot of problem with illegal dumping. They dump construction materials everywhere in the city, on the back streets, off of Mulholland, on the street behind me. So any place that's quiet, they'll come on a Sunday night and just unload their pickup truck full of busted up drywall and stucco. And I was at an event once, and I was talking to like a politician. I said, man, this place is full of garbage everywhere. As people are dumping stuff everywhere. And he goes, yeah, I know, it's a mess. I don't know, I wish we could fix it. You know, I go, well, yeah, I can fix it. I can tell you how to fix it. And he goes, well, how are you going to fix it? People just showing up at Sunday night, you know, just unloading their truck, takes them 3 minutes, and they drive home, and there's nothing. I said, the dump's $200.
Yeah.
It costs $200 for those guys to do it. You want them to do the right thing, which is drive to the dump. That's $200. These guys, who's dumping this stuff? He goes, well, I don't know. I go, poor Mexicans. This is all construction material. These are guys who come in and demo out the bedroom and the bathroom, throw it in the back of the truck. And because they don't want to take $200 out of their pocket, they just dump it in the street behind me.
Yeah.
So that's who's dumping the stuff. All right, well, what are we supposed to do? I go, well, listen, go to the Home Depot, hand out certificates like in Spanish, like little flyers. Say, you can go to the dump for free with this, and you get a 6-pack of Tecate.
Yeah.
And that'll solve the fucking problem. And the guy goes, that's a good idea. That would probably work. I go, yeah, it would work. They would do it.
Yeah.
You're charging them too much. You're not going to do it. Anyway, I'm at this bar. And about an hour later, the guy circles back. Swear to God, I'm at Mark Garagos' house. The guy circles back and he goes, what's that idea again about the dumping? I go,
did he have a notepad?
You know, I was like, okay, they can't do anything. They can't do anything. I could fix it. They can't.
Man.
And they don't really want to, I guess.
Well, and do you think with these covers for the copper wire on the lights, and they're opting for these solar lights, do you think part of it is their obsession with this environmental stuff, where it's like no matter what the cost, even though this is a simple, cost-effective, easy solution, we have to do this environmental thing where it's millions of dollars, but we have solar lights?
We have an obsession in California, but LA is kind of a microcosm of California, and they love it. And you can find 2,000 hours of bad politicians saying, we lead the country and we're on the vanguard. We push the thing. And as LA goes and California goes, so goes the nation and so goes the world. They think they're on the vanguard of everything. That's why they come up with all their retarded ideas that end up fucking dry anally raping them from behind, but they think they're on. We're the first to give out. We give drugs. We have drug vending machines. We put them in the parks. We're the first to do that. It's a shit show, but they look at it as we are the first, and that's how they do it. So we'll be the first to have street lamps that are 60 grand to retrofit that end up getting ripped off.
And then they won't work, but they can brag. We were the first to have solar lighting in the country.
They love all that talk. And the kind of talk they fucking hate is like repair the aqueducts, fill the potholes, work back, start getting your curriculum together at schools. Oh no, we have an LGBT community. We're the first in the nation to force 9th graders to suck cock. We're the first. We're the first. And we have the trans community. We're the first to legalize the trans community, reading Cat in the Hat to special needs 3-year-olds. We're the first. You understand? Yeah, you're the first because your ideas are horrible and no one would do this shit in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to outlaw the internal combustion engine. We'll be the first to have an all-electric fleet all the time. And we're going to do community policing. We're going to be the first nation, we're the first city and the first state to have community ambassadors. Not armed policemen. We'll have ambassadors riding the subway. We're the first.
Yeah.
Right.
And they just have drag queens teaching little kids under the solar lighting.
That's right. We'll be the first.
Keep things being dumped in the back.
We will be the first.
Have you had the copper wire theft problem in your neighborhood?
No.
Because I had it in my neighborhood. It wasn't the street lights, but they ripped up cable for like the Wi-Fi and internet service. So I had no AT&T internet service for weeks at a time, and it turned into months. Eventually, I canceled it because when I would call AT&T customer service and get the Indian person who transfers me around, they would say, "Oh, we know where it is. We know what we have to dig up, but we have to get the LA zoning board to approve us digging." And then you have the bureaucracy of LA government communicating with them.
That's just on you, my friend.
Exactly.
That's just on you.
Yeah.
You should move.
And neither of them want to fix it. So.
Yeah, I heard that. There was a whole thing in the news about that story. Well, look. Okay, here's the real question. The question isn't about retrofitting. The question is, why do we live amongst animals who are doing this to our city? That would be a question to ask. All right, sorry.
Yeah, speaking of the living conditions here, the next story is there's a North Hollywood tiny home village on Chandler Boulevard for the homeless. It costs roughly $5.4 million to build and only has a 30% success rate at getting homeless into more permanent housing. Despite failing 70% of the time, the workers say it's not a failure. The LA tiny home projects for the homeless, on average, show only a 10% success rate, and LA pays nonprofits for tiny home communities roughly $55 to $100 per night per bed.
Yeah.
Here's the video of the guy investigating.
My phone's inside a tiny home facility for those recently sleeping on the street. Is it helping you?
Yeah, not being in the streets.
Tiny home facility, North Hollywood. And they have 39 tiny homes. Each one houses 2 people. Dog park here. How long have you been here?
Almost a year.
It's run by Hope the Mission, by LA's City Roadmap. If you take a look at this WASA data, in 2024, they had a 10% success rate in getting people into permanent housing. Is yours similar to that?
So this particular site, but generally Hope the Mission, we exit about 30% of our clients into permanent housing.
Only going to be 30% because it's a trial effort to see what works and what doesn't.
Error is the word.
Is it fair to say that this isn't working?
They're the first to do it.
The failure rate is 70%?
No, because what's the alternative? Have them on the street? I'd rather be able to work with folks and get them in and continue to make the experience better.
I was staying in Balboa Park, actually.
You feel like you're getting close to getting back on your feet?
Yeah, so definitely. I've been a software engineer for 25 years. Lost my, I basically could not find work, and that's why I ended up on the street.
Yeah. Oh, then there's the whole fentanyl chapter.
That seems to be his only problem. He can't find software
25 years
engineer.
of software. Let's all think about this. Does anybody know? See, here's the whole thing. All the truth is anecdotal, but it's right. And I'll explain that in a second. First, Andrew, something that's always bothered me about Adam Yenser. He doesn't look like G.I. Joe, but G.I. Joe had friends. And some of those guys had beards. And he looks like G.I. Joe's friends who had a beard. And now you're going to have to find me a picture of that.
I stencil it on every day before I come in here.
It's always what I thought about. G.I. Joe had friends. This is high praise, my friend.
Yeah.
This is not a put down.
I'm honored.
I hope you're honored.
When at first you said G.I. Joe had friends, I thought it was going to be, but Adam clearly does not. I thought it was going to go a negative direction. No, I see.
No.
The beard, yeah.
Yes. All right. Here's how you can figure out everything in life. I will tell everyone how to be an expert at everything all the time. Okay. You observe things, you think about things a little, and then you realize you're an expert. So when people go, I never gave a shit about COVID. Let's say my kids were young-ish, 14, let's say, during COVID, 13, 14, right? Boy, girl twins. Now, a lot of people had a lot of concern for their kids. Mm-hmm. I had no concern for my kids vis-a-vis COVID because I looked around and no kid in the neighborhood was sick or got sick. I didn't hear one story about anybody even remotely related to anybody I knew as a young person or my kid's young, their friend that moved away to Oregon 3 years ago, but he got COVID and he's dead now. There was none of that.
Yeah, they're all healthy. They're young.
Every person was healthy. Mm-hmm. Now, the moms were locking them in their house because they're watching CNN and being scared.
With the death counter in the
corner. Right. But all I did was look around, and I never heard one story about one of my friends and any of my kids' friends being sick or even close to peril, much less dead. So after about 2 weeks, I was like, all right, nothing for kids. This does nothing to kids. So now, I wasn't looking at graphs and I wasn't looking at Fauci's cooked data. CNN's death counter or anything. I just looked at my kids. I looked at all their friends. I talked to them a little bit, like all your friends, like how you doing? They're good, they're bored, they're staying at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so-and-so got it, but it was fine. Two days later, it was fine.
It's a cold, yeah.
Right, and I was like, okay, so that's not a thing. Okay, so here's how it works. Does anybody know of anybody in their world or beyond, everyone you went to high school with, anyone you keep up with, any friend, any family member, who was homeless minus a drug or mental issue? Does anyone know anyone who's just gainfully employed for 25 years as a software tech and is now sleeping on a sidewalk? Does anyone know it? Do you have any stories? Did you go to high school with a guy? Do you have somebody from your old Pop Warner football team who's living on? Do you know it? Have you seen it? Is there anyone you dated? I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. There's a couple of guys who have a bad bout with drugs who I've known who end up on the street.
Same, yep.
But I don't know anyone who just was a software developer and got
job
fired.
Applications and just wound up losing
now they're sleeping outdoors.
Yeah.
I've never met that person, and I would argue that person really doesn't exist, much like the 14-year-old in my neighborhood who was claimed by COVID does not exist. Do you have to stare at graphs and charts to come to that conclusion? No, you do not. That person doesn't exist, and thus that problem doesn't exist. All right, let's see. Upper left, G.I. Joe. Let's see. And upper left, G.I. Joe. There may be an animated version of Adam Yenzer because G.I. Joe had a series. An animated cartoon, series. Right, so we may need to see it. The upper left G.I. Joe's and lower left G.I. Joe's got some Adam.
Yeah.
Go back to the main thing. Let's see. All right, find me. All right, hold on. Go all the way to left.
I'm going to go to my barber with a picture. This is what I'd like.
No, I said upper left when it was the upper one, you goofball. Sorry. Thank you.
That's the spitting image.
All right. Yeah. When you go into your barber next,
just hand them.
You
that
go
picture.
to Sports Clips. You go this because I do it with Jennifer Aniston. I go in and go.
You want the Rachel?
I want the Rachel, and God damn it! By God, they can do it. You know what I mean?
almost said, yeah, it looks exactly.
Well, it's grown out a little. Don't embarrass me, Adam. I know what you're thinking, but I'll go in with the Rachel.
Yes.
You go in with G.I. Joe.
Friend.
And
does he have a name, that guy?
You got to watch. We got to see the cartoon.
Yeah.
That'll help us. Nice. A lot. All right, so people are living in tiny homes, and that guy worked for 25 years. By the way, 25 years in a white-collar professional job, you'd think you might sock away a little something.
Yes, you have
enough to buy yourself
a couple years of padding to...
You wouldn't hit the street the following Monday, would you?
Especially not with that hair and those eyes. Oh,
yes.
I was just software engineering, and then this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, their interview that's running that little tiny home village, he says, well, what's the alternative? They're on the streets. I live in that neighborhood. They're still on the streets also. It's, you have a tent city and the tiny houses.
Yeah, it's not A or B. It's both. Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Colbert has blamed his producer for turning The Late Show into the left-wing lecture hour. Late-night host Stephen Colbert insists that he's only an insufferable partisan hack. This is the Daily Wire writing. Because a producer told him to be one. The host of The Late Show, which will be airing its final episode next month after years of losing money and failing ratings, said as much during a recent interview with the New York Times. Colbert said that he was discouraged by the network from being topical when he first joined as host. It was my instinct to be less topical because I didn't want to have to engage with what I saw was an increasingly contentious public discourse. And then he says, I said, aren't there other ways to have fun with the audience? Then he said, he was talking to Paul Dinello, one of his oldest friends and one of his producers, and he said, "You're having fun and people love to see that." And I said, "But that means I got to go dig up the guns." He compared himself to Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, burying his guns. And he said, yeah, during the 2016 party conventions, it was a turning point for him to return to his political background, with the outlet claiming that ratings soared after he started outright Trump bashing.
Colbert's kind of prickly. Like, he's not a dude. You know, I mean, he's kind of douchey, kind of waspy kind of guy. Like, he likes yachting and, you know, that kind of stuff. He's not like knock around, Joe Sixpack, G.I. Joe's buddy kind of guy like you. He's kind of an elitist. Where's that cartoon? We got to have that. The cartoon's got an opening, right? It's got to have the cartoon opening, right? I mean, I used to. That thing was a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I didn't watch all the time, but I definitely caught it several times.
Is that what inspired you to grow that beard?
I said one day, you'd see just the twinkle in my eye as I watched his friend come on screen, and I'd be like, someday that'll be me.
Do you get stopped in the street as one of G.I. Joe's buddies
People
a lot?
take pictures. They go, I thought you were a cartoon character.
All right, you got to look for stuff to look for there. All right, keep going. I know it's just I don't know if you type in G.I. Joe cartoon into Google, doesn't
listen,
that just
Shipwreck and Outback, which are the two characters that look like Adam, they're tough to find.
I'm do the opening to the cartoon.
I'm trying to find them in the opening.
Shipwreck and Outback.
So if you just Google in that, we'll see if we see him. I don't know.
See if he pops up.
Not in this.
Oh man.
I guess maybe you're just the action figure.
I might be. Well, I think they'll find him eventually.
Well,
but Colbert's not that guy. Oh wait,
there's Shipwreck.
He's wearing a
Shipwreck.
That's him in the Village People.
He's the seventh Village person. By the way, there was a lot of grappling hooks when I was young. You spun stuff and you threw it up to the top of the building, and then you climbed up.
The Ninja Turtles.
You would
every
use
character
a grappling hook.
Yeah, Batman.
You needed a grappling hook in order to get into a building back in the day.
You'd scale everywhere.
You'd scale everything.
You could hook onto a helicopter and fly away.
Not only they have a grappling hook that you spun and threw, they had one in a gun.
Yes.
Where you fire the grappling hook.
Like a harpoon gun that shot grappling
I don't know. There's a lot of grappling with hooks.
You never see that in actual Army footage of that.
No one has ever fully relied on a grappling hook in real life. Although, when Navy SEALs board a vessel, they will use a grappling hook.
They might be doing do you think that's what they're doing in the Strait of Hormuz right now? They're boarding those Iranian tankers with their grappling hook guns?
They pull up next to them in...
with that song playing.
With the G.I. Joe theme blaring in the background. They pull up. And by the way, you know, the guys that are driving the bootleg ships hear the G.I. Joe theme in the distance. And they're like, oh, we have a problem. So they pull up in their swift boats, and they're like Zodiac boats, and they pull up next to these things that are like 8 stories high, and they fire the fucking grappling hook, and they crawl up the side of the thing while it's moving. They would do that. Now I think they're probably lowering themselves down off helicopters.
From grappling hooks attached to the helicopter.
Zip lines or whatever they're called. I'd be a horrible passenger because I'd be like to the guy. The guy's like, all right, we're 50 feet above the deck. I go, why don't we just land on the deck? No, we're 50 feet above. It's go time. I'd be like, it's so big and flat. We could just land and we could crawl. We could get out of the helicopter like human beings. Hey, we got to zip down. I'm like, I saw Black Hawk Down. That doesn't always work. Why don't we just land on the deck of the ship? You know, can't we just land?
Yeah.
By the way, why have to do 4 stories? Why can't you just get 4 feet above the fucking deck of the thing and I'll jump out?
Yeah.
Oh, we got Shipwreck.
Step right down.
We got footage of Shipwreck. See if you're Shipwreck.
Is this him doing a theater show?
Buddies, what are you doing Saturday night? Watching G.I. Joe, the band?
It's the musical episode.
I had one of those dolls growing up. No, this is different. This is the band.
Yeah.
You know, the guy's a real American hero.
We used to have nice, masculine, patriotic shows like this, and now we have Colbert.
And now we have Colbert and drag strip or whatever the hell the stupid TV shows that won 62 Emmys.
The drag queen beauty competition show. Yeah.
God.
I haven't even.
Good that you haven't.
That one in The View I haven't watched lately.
Good. But what about Cobra?
Cobra, I gotta watch. And Cobra was he the
That's
bad
your
guy?
G.I. Joe fought
Yes,
Cobra.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you need another reason,
yes,
now you got
now
one.
I'm gonna hope that Shipwreck and what's the other guy that are? I hope they're in Cobra now.
His name is Glenn. All right, what else you got?
So there's some new polls for the LA mayor's race. Democratic socialist Nithya Raman, dubbed the next Mamdani, is now projected to win the LA mayoral election. There's a lot of different polls, but there's one poll here has her in a commanding lead with 33% of voters supporting her, while Karen Bass trailed at 17%. This is by Loyola Marymount University Center for the Study of Los Angeles. In the Loyola Marymount poll, unlike other polls, respondents were given brief descriptions of the candidates.
We find the quote Dawson, and we can figure out who to attribute it to. But one of the founding fathers basically said, when people figure out they can vote themselves, free stuff, it's over. And that's where we're at now. So there's always going to be more poor people than there are rich people, and there's always going to be more people not paying taxes than paying a lot in taxes. And it's literally just an equation. And so if you just said, look, every citizen has one vote, okay, those are the rules. I disagree with that, by the way. I think you should get X amount of votes for X amount paid in taxes, because otherwise you just have dumb poor people just go and tax that guy more.
Hey, they could just be out-of-work software engineers.
That's true, with wandering eyes and inappropriate ponytails for their age. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a lot more poor people than there are rich people, which is fine, except for the voting is at 1 for 1. Everyone just gets one vote. I always say this, my mom didn't pay taxes, lived off of welfare, and lived in her mom's freebie junker house her whole life. But every year, her vote canceled out my vote, who has employees, pays a ton of taxes, and contributes, right? So my mom's vote would cancel out my vote, even though she puts nothing in. So we're at a stage where in the past, let's see, the quote, a democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largesse, money, gifts, from the public treasury.
It was said a few different ways by a few different people. Alexis de Tocqueville said the American Republic will endure until the day Congress discovers that it can bribe the public with the public's money.
Yes.
Benjamin Franklin said, when the people find they can vote themselves money, that will herald the end of the republic.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the one. So now, what is in the way of this historically? Like, there are always poor people, and there's always rich people, and the poor people aspired to be more like the rich people, and they'd go, there goes Mr. Johnson in his Cadillac. You know, Timmy, you work real hard. One day you'll be living up that hill. Now they go, let's go get a rock and throw it at Mr. Johnson's Cadillac.
Latest Tesla on fire.
Latest Tesla on fire. That's where we're at now. So people used to have like sort of dignity and they were aspirational. Now they're just angry, and politicians agitate them constantly with this. This guy thinks he's better than you just because he's rich. I mean, when they're trying to do a hit ad against a politician, they go, billionaire Tom Steyer. The guy figured out a way to make $1 billion, but that's strike one. So, and I hate Tom Steyer, but the point is it's a pejorative now. Bernie Sanders, these billionaires think blah, blah, blah. So now what you have is a great combination. You have angry, agitated, poor people. You have basically politicians who go, all we got to do is agitate these people, make them think rich people are bad, and then we're going to take a vote. And the vote is, should we take more money from that guy to get more free shit for me? And the answer now is yes, because we're godless. We have no dignity anymore. And so that's what we're doing. Now, what no one tells the dumb poor person is that's never going to happen. Just like you thought Barack Obama was going to help you because you're black, and finally you're going to have someone who looks like you.
And he's going to unite the country.
He's not going to unite anybody. He's not going to do anything for you. He's a race hustler. He'll get his 9th house.
Yep.
He's in Martha's Vineyard
fees and his book
right
deals,
now.
yeah.
You will get jack shit. That's how it's going to work. Now, ultimately, it's the poor, dumb people's fault because you guys bought into this stuff, but also you didn't ever find a mirror. You know, when my mom would say, rich people don't pay tax, it's like, bitch, you don't pay any taxes, and you never did, and you take. So go find a mirror and figure out what you contribute, and then we can figure...
You talk to your mom different than I talk to her.
Well, I mean, when her son has befriended G.I. Joe
Yes.
and is touring the country selling out amphitheaters with a certain
Yes.
brand of American rock.
Yes.
I mean, come on. That's obviously a different relationship there. Yes, my mom needed to find a mirror and ask why she wasn't contributing versus why I'm not contributing more.
Yeah.
But no one is going to do that, and thus we're going to end up with this. And then Nithya Raman is going to talk about taking money from rich people and giving it to you so that you can have more. You're never going to get that money. That money's going to NGOs and to her buddies and to teachers' unions and labor unions, and your shit's going to get worse because all you're doing is waiting around for someone to save you, and they can't save you. Only you can save you, and you thinking it's coming from the outside in. And then the people that are keeping the lights on, whether they're solar powered or not, are going to go, you know what? It's one thing to pay for everything. It's another thing to be insulted while I'm paying for everything. So fuck this. I'm moving.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to beg for them to come back. But they're not.
Do you think there is a rock bottom we're going to every time we elect another Democrat or try the same policies, whether it's in LA or California, every election cycle, I don't expect it, but there's a glimmer of hope, like maybe this is the bottom and people turn around. Do you think we'll hit that?
We might be approaching that. The fire maybe ushered that in, but
with like Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton,
right,
other candidates they have some momentum, even though they're not.
I agree, and it'd be nice. It'd also be great to show the nation what you could do if you turned it around.
100%.
But I don't. I've lived in LA my whole life, and I have little confidence in these people, the voters, because they just do it. They can't. You know, we could have had Rick Caruso, a acclaimed commercial builder, and we got a socialist nut job who bowed at the altar of Castro, and we thought that would be a better person to run the city, not the person that builds all the places we want to go.
The places we enjoy going in LA.
The nutty, angry socialist lady.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Adam, what plugs can I give for you?
Let's see. May 16th, I'll be doing a show called Make America Laugh Again in Chula Vista. And then I'll be with Yakov Smirnoff at the Kenosha Comedy Club May 29th and 30th.
Yakov's such a dear.
He's a great guy.
YouTube show, The Canceled News, you can check out. Kevin Kiley, of course. Me, this Friday and Saturday, Las Vegas at Kimmel's Club, and then Covina, the Laugh Factor, the guest that will blow your mind, but I cannot say who it is because it's a secret, because it's an issue, but I'll tell you. Visalia at the Fox Theater, and then Modesto at the State Theater. You just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, Adam Carolla for Adam Yenzer and Kevin Kiley saying, mahalo.
Ace man, full disclosure, sometimes I do a deep leg cross just because it feels good on the old nutsack. Love the show, brother. Keep fighting a good fight. Get it on, get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I wanted to get into some deep leg crossing before Andrew gets into his news, which is, you guys, I think everyone thinks I'm weird, but I don't. Everything stands for something. There's a reason. There's a kind of, there's a reason for everything. And some of it is like economics. And like I remember one time I said to somebody, why did we switch from regular iced tea to passion fruit iced tea? Because I don't fucking like it, and I don't know anyone who orders iced tea who wants passion fruit iced tea. But we decided in like March of 2004 just to make the leap. Like we're just and then you'd go to restaurants and you go, could I have some iced tea? And they go, passion fruit, okay? And I'd go, no, I want regular iced tea. And they go, we could take tea bags and put them in hot water and then freeze it. And I'm like, or you could give me what happened to iced tea. And then somebody explained to me that the passion fruit, something about it's lasted longer. They didn't have to clean it as much or something. I'm totally convinced with this and these fucking cherry tomatoes that nobody likes. All skin. All leather, skin, and pus. And they start, because I think these things will last in a basket in your refrigerator for 7 months. Yeah. Versus a beefsteak tomato, which is good for 4 days or whatever it is. There's an economic thing that drives it, and then dumb people go, oh, I like the cherry tomatoes because this one's called a Ruby Grand Beautiful, and it's so cute. And this and the other one, the passion fruit has the word passion in it, so it sounds cool. Okay. By the way, you notice we got rid of the passion fruit iced tea? It's not really around anymore.
So it wasn't an organic push. Somebody was tipping the scale.
Yeah, and then nobody liked it, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Here's my point. Gavin Newsom and his leg crossing. You can, first off, nobody crossed their legs like he crosses his legs now. But be weary of people that change hard at the age of 50 plus. You know what I mean? Like they're for gay marriage, or now they're against gay marriage, or they're for fracking, or they're against fracking, into their twilight years.
No.
It's so full of shit. When people, now look, you show me a picture of Gavin Newsom crossing his legs like that in college, I'll go, fine, grandfathered in. There isn't. You can see Obama, how he used to cross his legs. He doesn't do it. So they're doing something. They didn't just go, this is the way I sit. You know what I mean? Because you don't change up. The way you sit is like fundamental to who you are. It's just who you are.
No, it's your gait. It's like a fingerprint.
Thank you. It's uniquely yours. It's your thing. But it's also kind of like how you drive. Like I drive a certain way. Someone else drives another way. My way's better. But the point is, it's just sort of the way, if you really think about it, the way you lounge when nobody is watching is you at your purest self. This is how I sit, whether it's Al Bundy with the hand down the pants, or the leg cross, the amount of sort of recline. The whole point is it's your gait. That's you. That's who you are. We should be able to recognize you. The fact that you changed that at age 52 and a half, suspicious to me. Now, what Gavin Newsom will do, which is interesting, and Obama, you can see pictures of Obama in the war room when they're bombing Libya or something, and when no one's really supposed to know where he is. He's not in front of an audience at the 92Y. He has his legs crossed like I cross my legs. Yeah. Later on, when he gets in front of the crowd at the 92Y in Manhattan, then he does here's how we're crossing our legs. The thing that's funny, I know about Newsom. Newsom does the super deep leg cross when he's in front of his partisan progressive crowd. When he's being interviewed by progressive, like a deep progressive guy, he does the deep cross. When he's interviewed by Ben Shapiro, both feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro's got both his feet on the ground because he's not a partisan homo like the guys who interview these guys from the Times. He's just sitting with his feet on the ground when Ben Shapiro. Then when a deep left guy interviews him, then he does the deep cross. And then I saw him on Axios being interviewed by someone who was on this show.
Alex Thompson.
Who's a little more middle of the road. Mm-hmm. And now he does the middle of the road leg cross. It's all one big presentation to who's talking to you, which, by the way, means he's full of shit. Because if you're authentic, you have one leg cross. You have one way of everything. And let's see. Alex, who's interviewing. Oh, he's very deeply disappointed. about Elon Musk. Aren't we all disappointed about Elon Musk? If you really think about it, I mean, no more so than his mom, right? She's got to be devastated how Elon turned out, right?
Yeah.
That's brutal. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, let's play this.
One of the great disappointments. One of our.
Hold on, we got to start at the start. Sorry.
Musk. One of the great disappointments.
Musk.
One of the great innovators of our time. I brought up Edison before. He's Edison of our time. It breaks my heart. I was the first,
pause there.
First.
not the deep leg cross. Notice the guy who's talking to him has no leg cross. So he sort of parrots sort of mimes back whatever it is, apes back whatever it is, the guy. So the guy talking to him's got both feet on the ground and is asking him real questions. So Newsom does the middle of the road leg cross with this guy. Ben Shapiro, you get no leg cross. And then when you get the super lefty from the New York Times, then you get the deep leg cross. It's all. But by the way, I don't know that he knows what he's doing. That means he's on autopilot.
Yeah, so he's signaling here.
Yes, he signals. That's what he's always. It's always everything but who he is, because he is nothing. There is no baseline with him. It's just whatever. Here's what I am. Whatever you want me to be, who's sitting across from me right now. That's what I am. Am I for fracking? No. What are you for? You're for? Okay, then I am for fracking. Am I for transitioning prisoners? Yeah. Oh, what? No? Okay, then I'm not. That's why they just waffle. All right, so he's deeply disappointed in Musk. Why? Because he tried to end corruption?
Tesla's off the line. I've been one of their biggest proponents, supporters. Was regulation in California that created the conditions that allowed him to take the risk to become the multi-billionaire, maybe trillionaire that he's become. But right now, he's allowing, and I think this is Trump, not just Elon Musk, he's going to allow the greatest on-goal in, I think, one of the most significant on-goals in the next decade is ceding the EV space to China. They have 70% of the global EV market.
Yeah, this guy fucking does nothing. Is very disappointed in Elon. Listen, Elon realized that Democrats were retarded, and now he's out, and you're burning his dealerships. I get it, and you're so disappointed in the guy who creates billions of jobs and tax revenue. But he loves illegals. But he's not disappointed in them. But he is disappointed in Elon.
He's disappointed in Elon.
All right. Bruce Springsteen has a clip that has been making the rounds because he got woke. Listen, everybody. Listen to me. 30 years ago, remember those glory days, Bruce? Remember the glory days where Bruce Springsteen and Robert De Niro never said anything into a microphone? They just let their work speak for them, and everyone loved them. And I said to everyone, I think these guys are secretly dopes. And then people said to me, what do you mean? Robert De Niro's a genius. Have you not seen Casino? And I go, I think he's an idiot savant. I think he's really good. Not any different than a great athlete. You know what I mean? Like, you are amazing at your sport, or you're amazing guitar player, or you're amazing actor. But does that make you a genius? It does in this one limited realm. Only two guys I ever picked out, because they never really did long-form interviews, was Bruce Springsteen and Robert De Niro. And in the last 5 years, they both started talking, and now they both sound like fucking retards. So I was right all along.
Do you think, Adam, that consistently praising someone for 40 to 50 years will kind of atrophy your cerebral bandwidth there? Or do you think...
I will say that...
Because these are guys that have been lauded.
Right. I think the lauding does it in the sense that this is why these people get torn apart and they won't, but like when these guys debate Ben Shapiro or Charlie Kirk or somebody of that nature, they always get destroyed because they don't spar.
No, there's zero resistance training.
Right. They have no resistance training. They float in outer space and they atrophy, and they think they have the chops or the muscles, or they think they can get in the ring, and they get dismantled because they don't spar.
Yeah.
The right kind of spars is always in camp and always sparring. The left hives themselves off and they atrophy. But let's hear whatever he had to say, sir.
Minneapolis, Portland, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, Newark, Sunrise, Florida, Austin, Chicago, Atlanta, Belmont, Long Island, Philadelphia, New York, Brooklyn, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Boston, and Washington, D.C. The E Street Band is coming your way, and we are bringing hope over fear, democracy over authoritarianism, the rule of law over lawlessness, ethics over unbridled corruption, unity over division, and peace over Minneapolis.
All right, so they're bringing hope over fear. I always loved it. How is it that you can transport hope? You get that on do you have to check that at the airport? Is that a carry-on? Can you carry on hope? Yes, I know all the politicians are bringing you hope. They're going to fight. They're going to stand up. By the way, when they say lawlessness, they don't mean illegals from Honduras shooting college students in the back. That's not the kind of lawlessness, or people in the streets looting or burning a city to the ground or doing street takeovers. When they say lawlessness, they don't mean that. They mean Trump getting a 4.7 rate on a mortgage loan and using Mar-a-Lago as collateral. Yeah, that's the kind of lawlessness he speaks of, not the kind of lawlessness that you think of when you go outside and you see people burning down Apple stores.
Yeah, the democracy over authoritarianism is...
I do love that.
I mean, how many primaries did Kamala win?
Let's see, 0. Oh, yeah. And who's the big guy? And Hunter Biden's on the board of Burisma Energy in Ukraine. Does that make sense? And then you get the Ukrainian DA fired, basically, because you say it won't give him the cash. Yeah, that's no problem there. And you have 100 shell accounts in your grandkids' names. Sleepy Joe. By the way, tickets are start at $2,500. I think, and go up to like $5,000. He's keeping it real, people.
There you go.
The boss is a dope.
That's going to stop him.
Yes. Now, it begs something else, but I'm glad. I like to engage. By the way, general admission, floor, row, whatever, $9,000, $9,600. Holy crap.
That's insane.
All right. So, let me say this. It brought on a tweet because I called Springsteen a douche, which he is, but he's just dumb, to be fair, but he also likes his plaudits from his crowd. It's fine. The other thing that, so somebody tweeted me, and they explained that he has more class and grace or something in his pinky finger.
Yeah, you liked it. It's in your tweets.
I did like it. It's in there somewhere. But here's the point, and the reason I'm bringing it up, because it's not for nothing. It's in there somewhere, Chuck. I think it was from this morning. All right, so here it is. Bruce, so I say Bruce is a douche. And then he says Bruce has more class and style in his pinky than blowhard President Taco. Are we still going with the taco? Taco is, he folds or he chickens out or something. I don't know. Isn't he bombing a country right now? But anyway, so Bruce has more class and style in his pinky than Trump, basically. All right. So let me say this. This is a thing, and it's a problem, which is class and style. This is a problem. Bruce does have more class and more style, but his ideas are retarded and would destroy this country if he was in charge. And Obama was nothing but class and style with retarded ideas that would destroy this country. And Biden is class and style with ridiculous ideas about open border and defund the police and all that. Every idea he has is destructive. And Gavin Newsom is the epitome of class and style with horrible policies that are literally destroying California. So yes, Gavin Newsom has a lot more class and style, and so does Barack Obama, than Ron DeSantis. Except for Ron DeSantis has good policies, you assholes. I know you think it's some sort of class and style competition. It's not. It's good policy competition. The class and style. Yes, he's Gavin Newsom's dangerously handsome. That's good for Esquire magazine or Vogue or whatever it is. The state he governs is falling apart, and he has class and style.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, pardon me, but I'd rather a dumpy schlub wearing bad cowboy boots and good policy run California with zero class and zero style. How about that? With like gravy stains on his shirt. Chuck, I would like you in purple ostrich cowboy boots and gravy stains on your shirt and good policy run California rather than a tall, slender guy with great hair who had plenty of class and style run it into the ground with horrific policies. But people on the left, that's why all Hollywood is this way. They're aesthetic. And it's all about the looks and the aesthetic of the person. And that's why Trump drives them insane, because there is no class and there is no style. There's just a bunch of policy.
Yeah. Vote for Chuck.
Vote for Chuck. All right, let's do some news.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with this one. This is heartbreaking, man. For two reasons. This is in my hometown of Philadelphia, and my brother is a combat vet. So at the Hands Off Iran rally this past month, well, there were some people with some. We'll just let them speak for themselves here. It's a Hands Off Iran rally at Philadelphia City Hall this past month.
Until we have done everything in our power to bring the United States to its knees, let us not lose sight of the enemy. For every U.S. military base that crumbles, and for every U.S. soldier who returns home in a casket, we cheer. Hamas, Hezbollah, Ansarullah, all of the resistance forces we celebrate. These popular voices on the ground spend every waking moment in direct confrontation with Zionism, and they rely on a strong Iranian state to maintain their fighting capacity.
Do you hate America? May a Hamas rocket blow up your family's home.
All right. Nothing says passion about an issue like reading the entire thing off your phone.
Yeah, you got to be off book. Come on.
You got to get off book.
You can't do it. Like if you're a bridesmaid, maid of honor, you're giving the best speech.
Yes.
Can't read off your phone.
No.
If you're doing hate speech, you got to be memorized. Come on, guys.
I would say more so than the best man's maid of honor bride speech, even the eulogy, you got to get off that phone for hate speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Hate speech is number one. You can't be reading off your phone.
You can't be on. You got to be off prompters, we'd say, because hate speech is supposed to come from the heart. You know, it's the soul kind of thing.
Full chest.
Right. So you reading it off your phone, basically, I don't know. I feel like it hurts your cause. It's also funny that your DA in Philly, Krasner, while these guys are yelling, destroy the United States, he's down at the airport saying he's going to arrest ICE officers.
Yeah.
It's fucking upside down world. It is upside down world. Muslims are your best friends. And your DA, you know what's funny? Krasner is such a pussy, but he's one of those Soros elected guys who's soft on crime and then the city falls apart. It's so funny. If you listen to the first 30 seconds of this, it sounds like he's, for the first time ever, talking tough about crime, except for the only reason he's talking tough is because he's talking about ICE agents and not criminals.
Yeah.
For like a moment you go, oh, some tough crime talk from DA Larry Krasner. Sorry, here it is.
This is how it works. You commit crimes within the jurisdiction that is the city and county of Philadelphia, I prosecute you. That is how it works. No, I don't take a phone call from the president saying let him go. No, the president cannot pardon you. I'll say it again. The president cannot pardon you. And yes, I will put you in handcuffs.
All right, pause it for a second. I'm watching it going, oh, guy's finally getting tough on crime. He's getting tough on crime. He's talking about U.S. Marshals. He's talking about folks with badges who are sworn in who work for this country's security. That's who he's talking about. He's not talking about gangbangers.
No.
He's not talking about illegals shooting college students. He's talking about folks who work for us.
Ugh.
Keep playing it. It's funny.
Yes, I will put you in handcuffs, and I will put you in a courtroom, and if necessary, I will put you in a jail cell. If you decide to make the terrazzo floor of this airport anything like what you did in the streets of Minneapolis, which involved the criminal homicide of unarmed, innocent people.
Well, one guy was armed.
We are not having that.
One person drove a van at somebody.
Let me go back to all ICE agents.
By the way, you know what I like about these douchebags on the left? If you're driving a 5,000-pound minivan, you're unarmed. But if you're in the Capitol on J6 and you're holding a flagpole made out of birch, you're armed.
Yeah.
Or you're swinging around a helmet, or you have a potted plant. So that is an armed insurrection. But a 5,000-pound minivan that's capable of killing anyone at any time. I don't know. How many people have been run over and killed each year versus conked over the head with a wooden flagpole and killed? I'm going to go significantly higher run over on the streets.
Yeah.
That's just me. So unarmed, his version of unarmed, this fucking pussy's version of unarmed is a guy who's got a gun and a woman who's driving a minivan, which is a weapon, but that's unarmed. Armed is guys at the Capitol with a helmet, a potted plant, and a flagpole. That's his definition of armed. By the way, as a DA, that's his definition of armed at the Capitol, and then unarmed is a guy who is armed and someone else is driving a vehicle.
Yeah, well, he's gotten better at being a tough-talking guy, because I do remember when he did the, you can get the F out. He took, there was a beat before he didn't say fuck. He said get the F out. But when it comes to tough-talking officials, he's got to take a page out of Philadelphia former mayor Frank Rizzo's book. I mean, this guy... Oh, Jesus, how far we've fallen. If this guy were the mayor...
This is 40 years ago?
This is maybe 40 years ago.
Politicians used to be tough-talking dudes. Here we go.
You're a crumb creep. I want to fight you. But you don't have the courage. You're a real crumb bum. Put that on camera. You're a creep. Get away from me.
Well, sir, I'm on the public street. I should be authorized to be here.
I'll break it over your. I'll break it over your head. Get away from me, you crumb. You're a crumb creep coward. I want to fight you.
Why is that?
Because you're a crumb creep lush coward.
You don't even know me, Mayor.
You are a lush. I can tell by looking at you. I was a cop all my life, and I know a lush when I see one, and you're a lush. You're a creep. Get away from me, crumb
bum. Well, that's the guy who used to run Philadelphia.
That's the guy who used to run Philadelphia. So I don't know. If you were running it, maybe those guys wouldn't be.
Now we got the deep leg cross with the brooch.
Oh, man.
On. Or just the fat black chicks running everything. Oh, man.
Now, I'm a big First Amendment guy. Those guys have their rights to say whatever the fuck they want to say. But I think if you're going to go to City Hall and say shit like that, you can't wear the mask.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta...
let me tell you something. This whole COVID... Okay, listen how fucking dumb we are. The mask did nothing. Proved ineffective. Helped nothing. Did nothing for COVID, except for it gives every single person excuse now to mask up before they commit any kind of crime anywhere in the country.
Or say wild shit.
Thank you.
It's a total license to steal.
Right. Mm-hmm. Nice job, idiots, with your stupid mask shit. All right, what else we got?
Well, speaking of pro-Iranian material, the Iranian social media posted, it's an AI-generated video, just a propaganda promoting future strikes against the United States. This is pretty wild. But I think you'd like it, Adam.
Okay.
So it's all about revenge against wronged cultures and societies.
Hiroshima. We bombed. Can you guys fuck right off with Hiroshima and Nagasaki? You could have surrendered, Japan. You could have surrendered, but you did not. And you could have not bombed Pearl Harbor, but you couldn't stop yourself. And now you got a fucking atomic bomb because we're smarter than you. So fuck right off. And number two, you guys set off incendiary bombs to try to burn down the Pacific Northwest. If you had an atomic bomb, Japan, you would have lit it. You would have dropped it in the middle of Manhattan with no notice. So fuck right off. Go ahead. Vietnam, right? You guys are going communist. Yemen.
The Houthis.
Okay. That's our own word. Palestine and Gaza. Yeah, if you guys weren't anti-Semitic nut jobs, you could live. Oh, Epstein Island. Yeah, young girl on Epstein Island.
It's total revenge.
I know.
Keep going.
Iran. You guys don't have to be state sponsors of terror. There's a Ayatollah. It's all they have is a fucking cartoon. It's a good thing they have a retarded religion. They blew up here's the good news. Okay. It's like the Germans ran off the Jews and then we got a rocket program out of it. In a way, it's a good thing that they all belong to a retarded religion because their society is so fucked up that they cannot make a missile that would reach us, or they can't defend us from destroying them before they make that missile. In a way, it's kind of a blessing that they have a shit religion because it prevents them scientifically from doing shit that would work against us.
Did you notice that the Statue of Liberty was actually Baphomet?
Yeah, was that the goat with the horns?
That's it. Well, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's a big victory for you guys. This is as effective as the artist's rendition of the bullet train. You know, they go, hey, folks, look what we're going to do. Like, yeah, you got nothing. Yeah, but this is what we think it should look like in our head. I know, but you don't have anything. Well, let's go down to the 6th Street Bridge and show us an artist's rendition of that. See, in reality, you got gangbangers doing donuts and dodges on there and other homeless guys pulling copper out of the streetlights and graffiti. But according to our drawing, there's happy people and the band Chicago's playing and there's ice cream vendors and folks are walking with balloons. That's a drawing that you guys make because you cannot create the reality of it. So all you have is a fake drawing. You have an artist's rendition of what you would like your world to look like, except for the reality is a train driving through a pile of garbage in Los Angeles because people loot the boxes off the train. Yeah, that's the reality of what you have. You don't have anything. So you don't have a missile. You don't have this ability. You can't do shit. You have a backwards, fucked up culture, and that's why you don't have any good stuff. Yeah, but that's good because we can bomb the shit out of you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I will say this. That's a pretty cohesive social media strategy compared to our governor, who is now getting slammed for yet another problematic tweet. I mean, earlier this week, he compared himself. He basically posted a, don't I look like Christian Bale? Mm-hmm. And now he is, he's calling Benny Johnson. Well, just take a look at this tweet here. So Benny Johnson is calling out Governor Newsom for fraud investigations, and his press office says, we got a call from Grindr after this, and they said your team was their biggest users. Congrats.
Right.
So he's basically calling Benny Johnson, he's calling him a homophobic. This is a homophobic insult.
Yes, he's saying he's gay, and that means he's bad. Yeah. So that means gay people are bad. So why would Gavin Newsom in California, who's pro-gay marriage, talk about gay people being bad? It's always funny when people do that. They go, I didn't mean that. Look, I said that mountain bike was gay, and I didn't mean gay like slept with dudes. I meant like lame. It's like, well, that's even worse. Now you're just saying gay is lame. He's basically saying gay is bad. So nice job, Gavin. Also, people pointing out fraud in your state, while I get that it's a little bit humbling, should not make you angry. It should make you want to fix the fraud. These guys, it's so telling that they get angry at the people that uncover the fraud.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing they do. It's like some Honduran illegal who should never be in this country shoots some 18-year-old in the back, and then Trump sends a tweet out, and they go, look at him politicizing this. Okay, you should be looking at the criminal who's shooting the 18-year-old in the back instead of worrying about Trump. Maybe Trump is politicizing it.
Yeah.
It's still in your city, and you're still letting it happen. And maybe all these guys hate Newsom, and they do hate Newsom, but it's still fraud, and it's still in your city. Now, go ahead and debunk it.
Yeah.
Then just go ahead and say these guys are liars. My team looked into it. None of this exists. They never say that. They just yell at the person that's exposing. This is like yelling at an oncologist for telling you have brain cancer.
Yeah. Also, why are you taking phone calls from Grindr, man? You got to rebuild Malibu. You were on the phone with them like you were on the phone with Biden and that lady in the Palisades. It's the same thing.
All right. He's fucking retarded. All right. Me, April, Salt Lake City, Utah. Wise guys out there, April 10th and 11th. A couple of shows Friday, a couple of shows Saturday. Heading out to San Diego to Solana Beach at the Belly Up after that on the 12th. You can go down to Carolla.com for all the live shows. Chloe Cole, everybody. Her website is CHOOCOLE. Okay, you can. I hope so. There's 3 O's in there.
Let me take a look.
Seems weird. All right. Yep.
It's probably
3 O's.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
That's what
Check
we got.
that out. And Andrew, nice job. Until next time, Sam for Andrew and Chloe saying mahalo.